Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening and welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. We welcome October 2015 to the studio and to the broadcast. October 4th, that is, 2015, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening in live and listening in podcast form, whether through iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, our website, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are in the interwebs this evening. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network, if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right, thanks for listening tonight. We welcome you to the 2015 season. We are in week 5, y'all. Almost halfway there already. Usually it's like about 12 weeks in the marching band season, give or take. So already at 5, you got 6, we almost halfway there. And it's just like, man, time is going by so fast. But it's all good to have you listening with us. Shout out to all the people who have been listening to us this year. We really appreciate the love. A lot of hits live and a lot of hits going on during the week. So we definitely think the addition of our female companions are definitely doing the trick. So shout out to all of you people listening. Shout out to everyone. We can go ahead and dive into this week, okay? We have our expert panelists on the show. Let's see here. Let me turn this music down a little bit and get back to the people here. We have the great Christy Waters. What's going on tonight, Christy?
Hey, you got my last name confused. It's Walker.
I said Christy Waters. Wow, there it is. Wasn't she a R&B singer or something?
No, that was Crystal Waters.
Oh. Hey, I was about to get crunk up in here, boy. That was the jam.
Oh,
and,
now look, don't be marrying me to Rashad now. Come on now.
Oh, I know. Okay. And speak as the perfect segue, bring him right in. The owner and founder of Block Band. What's going on, Rashad? How you doing tonight?
And she's homeless. And she's homeless. That's the song, right?
I was just about to say, that was the jam from The Living Color. I listen to that a lot. I listen to that little skit a lot. But thanks, y'all, for being on the show tonight. We have another week here to talk about, a decent week. I saw a decent amount of bands again. Shout out to all the folks broadcasting with the phones, or broadcasting wherever you are tonight. Tonight, I got a chance to look at, and I'll see what you guys got to see. I know we had the headliner being Bethune-Cookman and North Carolina Central. Sorry for the mix-up. If any of you guys see any Magic City graphics out there, I put the wrong graphic in there, y'all. So yeah, if you see some Magic City stuff, yeah, that's later. But you know, the headliner this week is the North Carolina Central, Bethune-Cookman. I got a chance to check out a couple of other bands. I know Jackson State played Grambling, but you know, I see the Boom a lot, so I didn't get a chance to check that out. Christy, who did you get a chance to check out this week?
Let's see. I saw a little bit of the Grambling-Jackson State matchup. I saw a little bit of the Dell State and Morgan State matchup.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the other one? Oh, I saw the fifth quarter, which was, well, it wasn't really a fifth quarter because it was like 2-3 songs between Central and Bethune-Cookman, but I'm sure Rashad will have a lot to say because he was actually there.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the main ones that I watched. I was running errands and things like that, so I didn't get to watch a whole bunch. But I just finished watching maybe 20 minutes ago a high school battle of bands where Jackson State and Alcorn performed in. So, yeah, so I got to see that too.
Okay. Rashad, how'd you do this week, man?
So as Chrissy mentioned, I was here in Durham and saw the the matchup between Bethune-Cookman and North Carolina Central. I was kind of teed off a little bit because all my records said that the game started at 4 o'clock, which I found out was correct. However, due to the weather, they decided to start the game at 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the email about that, so I arrived at the halftime to see that. I also saw the halftime show between Jackson and Grambling, as well as the fifth quarter, and a little bit of the halftime shows between Savannah State and FAMU.
Okay, that's what's up. That's actually really good. I got a chance to dabble a little bit with Savannah State as well. I like Savannah State. I like Morgan State. I like Delaware State. I like all those type of bands. So I was really excited to see Morgan State and Delaware State. I really hate that those videos don't stay longer than what they do.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to give a shout out and applause. I believe my man's name is Chavez Anderson or Chavez Anderson. Chavez. That was dope. That's always what I have always wanted to see, a sideline reporter at the game with the microphone. Hey, how you doing? This is so-and-so coming to you live. And the brother was running up and down the track between the bands. I really enjoyed it.
Chavez, he really puts in work. He actually did some footage like that for us at the Queen City Battle of the Bands as well. But this time he actually got to interview Mr. Miles, who is the director at Morgan State. So, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was cool. I really like seeing that. I enjoyed that. The brother's from the East Coast somewhere. He caught the accent, you know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed that. So shout out to him. Shout out to all you videographers out there. Definitely for me, it was much more of a Periscope weekend. I didn't see as much online or YouTube like we see. I think I saw a little bit of Killer Kev, but real excited to see that Rashad was there live, real on the field in the battle trenches at our matchups tonight. So excited to hear what he's gonna say. I'll put you guys on mute so we can go ahead and get through with our first listen to our beloved sponsors. I give them another round of applause as we start our new year here at the Marching Podcast, preparing for those scholarships. We've talked to a lot of directors and a lot of people preparing for the National Signing Day show next year. So we are really excited about all the folks who are helping support us, because we are definitely going to need some money, y'all. All right, so keep listening, keep donating if you're there at home. Today's show, our beloved show, is brought to you by the greatest sponsors in the world, the Edge One Productions, Block Band Music, and HBCUbands.com. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
Hey, this is Melita Wilson, alumni of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida, founder of HBCU Campus Tours, listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop It Up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
We're back. 718-664-6025 is the number that you see there on the screen, and you're welcome to call in at any time. You're with Week 5 here with Rashad, Christy, and myself. Ashley may be on. I hit her up. We'll see. But I definitely, again, wanted to give a shout-out to the listeners. Ashley, definitely, she does her thing with trying to be on if she can. But shout-out to you, Ashley, if you can get on or not today. We're here, though. The show must go on. Listen to the boom in the background. There's nothing wrong with that. As I bring Christy and Rashad back live. Again, 718-664-6025. You are welcome to call in, and we will bring that in. We'll talk to anyone here. Talk about your week. We can start with the headliner, of course, with Bethune and North Carolina Central. I know we all got a taste of that. So, Christy, I'll go ahead and give you the floor first.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to defer to Rashad only because he was there for the majority of it. I mean, I actually caught on to his Periscope feeds, and I mean, what I saw, the little bit of the fifth, which was short because Bethune-Cookman decided to head on back, and I'm sure Mr. Wells has his reasons, but it was short. I only got to see like 2 or 3 songs really, but I will continue to say that I think that North Carolina Central is definitely a program that is on the rise. They have a really good sound. You know, I knew when Thurman Hollins was named the director, I was like, well, it'll only take a couple of years, and then they will be really turning some heads. So, I mean, I have, nothing but compliments to say about that program. I think they're definitely on the rise, which, is very hard for me to say as an Aggie. But, I gotta tell the truth, give credit where it's due. So, yeah, I'll let Rashad talk about that.
All right, Rashad, what's going on, man? Tell us about what happened with BCU and Central.
Well, I would just go ahead and like to defer to somebody that actually saw anything because, again, I got there after halftime due to the fact that they decided
that's right.
in the game 2 hours late and then 2 hours earlier. And then Bethune actually, Christy played one song. They played one song and rolled out.
Yeah, maybe they would think about it. Yeah, maybe they think about the weather too. Y'all, you got everyone knows my man Joaquin. Rolling up.
Cutting up. He is cutting up.
Yes, I'd love to tell you guys about geography and the cyclones that actually produce those hurricanes, but we won't do that tonight. We keep it on bands.
Okay.
So Christy, what did you check out?
I know. Hey Joe, I got a couple things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
So, when I first walked in, it was pretty powerful. I had some powerful sound coming out. I was like, well, who is that? And from the direction I was walking in, it definitely wasn't Bethune. So I was very pleased to hear that North Carolina Central was actually putting out quite a bit of sound there as I walked in. The number one thing I noticed about North Carolina Central throughout the third and fourth quarter was kind of an inconsistency in their sound, though. Sometimes we'd be like, wow, like that's pretty powerful. They're not going to be stepped on here. But other times we're kind of like, well, they kind of sound small right now. So of course that's something that's building. But at the times when they were at their best, they really were at their best. And like Chris said, they are a program that's going to be on the come up. I give them another year to really be competitive in the MEAC, and another 2 years if they're continuing on that same rate to really be a top-notch band.
Mm-hmm.
Bethune-Cookman, I think Bethune was Bethune pretty much throughout. I mean, they're always very disciplined. They always have a great sound. You could tell that, you didn't know that they were really holding back throughout the game because once the fifth quarter started and they unloaded one song, it was like, oh, wow, Bethune, like, man, you guys are, got a little power over there. So obviously during the game when they were playing, they would hold back some. But when it came to, that one song they played during the fifth quarter, they just kind of let it flow. They say, well, we only playing one song, so go ahead and let them have it. North Carolina Central came back and they played a couple things. Conga was one of those things. I'm not feeling that arrangement of Conga that they did at all because everybody knows we played Conga by Gloria Estefan. The name of the main thing of that song is to go and they don't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I did notice that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like why play the song if you're not going to do the stuff that really makes the song conga? Just don't play conga, So that was
like the sonic boom and Jupiter and the trumpets. Okay, my bad. Okay.
I know. No, we weren't talking about Jack State though, was we? We weren't talking. Oh no.
Okay.
That's pretty much all there is to say about that. The game was exciting, and it was pretty much Bethune would play clusters of songs. There wasn't a lot of trading back and forth. Bethune would play 2 or 3 songs for a while, and they would sit down, and then Central would play 2 or 3 songs, kind of like that.
Right. I just have so many thoughts about Bethune. I mean, I really straddle the fence with them because I think they are a very good program, a very strong program, but they're just stale to me, and that just kind of hurts my soul because I'm like, you have all the tools needed to be like a powerhouse, and on the same time they're the most predictable HBCU band out there. Like what they're going to do even before they do it. I mean,
who are y'all talking about?
I'm talking about Bethune.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, somebody called me on my cell phone. Go ahead, Rashad.
They're not out there to impress you, like you personally. Like they can care less what you think about them. They're going to do their show. And they're going to leave when they want to. They're going to play as loud as they want to or not play as loud as they want to. They're going to do the same show if they want to, and they could care less about what you think. That's just how they are.
And they're going to yawn. That's what we're going to do. We're going to yawn. The crowd is going to yawn and be mad that they're at the Honda, but then kind of understand why they're at the Honda because they look very clean and they have a decent show, but that's why I just struggle with them.
And they sound good. They sound good. That was the main thing I saw. I was like, they sound good. They're complete. I'm trying to figure out something that's wrong with them. You know what I mean?
They only get up for fam. That's it. They don't get up for anybody else except that Florida Classic. They put, all their eggs in that basket.
Now, so I have to ask you both. I'm glad you asked that, Christy. Is that a coaching flaw, or is that like, oh, we so tight that we can't do that? Like, is that something that they should correct? Should they come with it every weekend, or should they just be laid back and be like, oh, we Bethune, we just that tight like that?
Well, I don't think anybody needs to be laid back and complacent. I don't think about that like in general. Like, you don't want to be like that on your job in general. I mean,
True.
Laid back and complacent. But that's just my opinion. Hey, maybe Rashad has a different view, being a director, former director.
Yeah, what you think, Rashad? You think like laying in the cut and waiting for fam, and of course we're just speculating. You know what I'm saying? We just speculate. We're just throwing it out there, But what you think, Rashad?
I really don't think it's that at all. I think that every band has failings and they have things that they excel at. Bethune-Cookman, as far as their performances on the field, are nearly perfect, and they have a nearly perfect sound. But the thing that you lose with that is they seem to have a very short book, and they're not going to be very creative. Other bands, A&T is extremely creative right now. I mean, they're doing some incredible things. But unlike when Christy was in the band, their book is probably pretty thin. And you can do that with every band. You can do that with every band. They got things that's like, wow, like we do a great show, but in the stands we're not all that awesome. Or we can just destroy you in the stands, but we don't have a great field show. I think that's Bethune's thing, is they just don't really have that creativity, but they excel in being just precise and having a great sound.
Now, wait a minute. What'd you say about when I was in the band at A&T? What'd you say?
I said that compared to you guys when you were in the band, A&T probably doesn't have a very thick book. I'm sure you would agree with that.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Fifth Amendment on that. I'll be the Fifth. I want to make sure I heard you right.
I mean, there was a time when A&T could go, pound for pound, for hours upon hours in the fifth quarter, playing songs upon songs, and I just don't think that they're there anymore. But they have sacrificed that in order to be one of the best bands on the field right now. You just can't do everything and still have kids that can get food. Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's funny that you say that, because I'm sure that all of us can attest to it, and I don't know if they're still doing it. I'm guessing they probably are, but we used to be in practice late. I mean, like,
these new lambs. These new lambs can't do that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Really? So they don't be in practice till like 12 or 1 o'clock anymore?
Look. Let's have a seat and let me school you on the millennial student.
Okay.
Yeah. No. This is a new generation. It's a new generation. These students.
So wow.
Because I know for a fact that one school does practice like that. I know that for a fact. And I'm pretty sure that Jackson State does put in a lot of practice. I don't know what their hours are, but I'm pretty sure that they put in a lot of hours. I think this depends on where you are.
Okay.
Some schools are not allowed that long, and that's from the administration.
And a lot of parents, I remember a lot of parents were complaining about that. That was another thing I had to ask, because I didn't know if that was, like you said, administration or parents. But a lot of the parents were like, I sent my son to go to school, not to necessarily be in the band. We hear that he in practice till 1 and 2 o'clock, So we did hear rumblings of that. Definitely when I was there was some parents, that was march with me in the boom that was not all thrilled about that. And I don't know if they're still doing that or not. They were cracking down on everything else, so.
It's a real good point. I mean, because we want to see the very best bands that we can, but I've seen a lot of all of us have seen career marching band students. People who have been in the band for 6, 7, 8 years, on and on, and then because they can't graduate from college. And some of that is that the bands are practicing so long, or perhaps maybe just not efficiently enough, that they're not graduating. So I think there should be some type of cutoff. Like, you can only practice this long, but I think you have to be very efficient in your practices in order to make sure that you can still be the best. You know?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Efficient. That's you, upperclassmen. Upperclassmen out there, we are speaking to you. It is up to you guys to bring practice through most efficiently. You definitely got to kick it and be silly afterwards, and you can do that then. So shout out to all the folks, all the upperclassmen. I definitely learned that from, because I was a little bit of the ones that like to have fun in practice, and yeah, it took a little bit longer. I learned that later. So yeah, that's on you, upperclassmen. So let me say, well, I just like you guys, I saw Bethune and Central, and shout out to, I have to give applause to my man T.D. Hollins, or Glenn, as I know him. Really excited for what he's doing on Periscope, which, what I love in the comments, people off gate, because they were smaller than Bethune, the first initial comments were like, oh, who is this? Get this band out of here, blah, blah, blah. But the more and more they were playing, people were like, they kind of sound kind of good. And then they kind of won over the comments, if you will, when I was watching on Periscope. So I told DeLynn that, and he said, he was humbled, and he said that they working really, really hard on a lot of aspects of the program. But he said he just really believes in his students. He said they just young, and like Chrissy, it's funny you say about the Lambs today, but he said that he has probably more confidence in them that they even know. Like he says, they probably, like we already said, they probably gonna be off the chain in the next couple of years. He said they don't even know it yet, So he's trying to instill that confidence in them. But shout out to them, because I thought they were good. I like how they kept their horns front, and they didn't lose the sound during halftime. That was the biggest thing I noticed. Because, smaller bands, that's what will run you out when you start hearing, gaps and holes in the songs you play. I definitely felt they had the conditioning, and they kept the same power throughout the show. So shout out to them. It was hard for me to say, who won or who won that particular part or whoever, blah, 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 just because of what we know about Central and how they coming back. And then, of course, how Bethune just kind of just lays out there. But, they could have got slept on. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were one or two moves or maybe a couple songs away from us blasting them today. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I thought of it. Chrissy, I know we got some more time in this segment. Anything else from this week other than this game that you saw that jumped out at you more, or anything else that you want to talk about this week?
Well, I saw Morgan State and Dell State, which I very rarely get to see, but different folks that I know from those programs were on Periscope, so of course I'm gonna see. And so both of those programs, I think people have been, I don't want to say sleeping, but maybe just not really paying attention to Morgan, when I think that they're having a pretty decent year this year from what I've seen. They've definitely increased in size and, sizes and everything, but, it's still, I think they're still putting out a good sound. Delaware State is somebody that I rarely see, and I'll admit that, even though they're technically in the conference of my alma mater. But I saw some good things out of them too. I saw the halftime show, and then there was a back and forth fifth between both of them. So, I gotta give props to those programs up there, north of the Mason-Dixon. Well, I guess technically Morgan State is not more north of Mason-Dixon, but the schools up there are so, HBCUs are so few and far between that they don't really get the props that I think that they need. So, it was just really good to see them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Rashad, man, what else went on with you? I know you said you went there. I hate that you got the notice super late. I hate that they decided I made that decision. Do you make that decision the morning of the game? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? How do you have? Wow, that's crazy to me that they actually did that. And that game was on TV too, right? That game was on TV, right?
It may have been.
I think it was on Central, and Bethune was on TV. I guess ESPNU, because Bethune made ESPNU at their halftime show. So that game, maybe it was ESPN pulled that. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I didn't get the message. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the Jackson Grambling game. I really like that game. So I saw the halftime show and the fifth quarter. Grambling was first. Let's see here. The number one thing, my things about Grambling are pretty similar from year to year. For example, they like to do a lot of those step 2 drills, and they just won't take the time to do the step 2 drills accurately. And this is year after year. I think at least 3 years in a row we've been saying this, and every time I see Grambling, it's the exact same thing. They'll do that step 2 drill, and for the first 5 or 6 counts, it looks pretty decent. And every time I'm like, okay, it's going to be nice. And then about 16 steps into it, it looks like a net. It's just the things are not straight, and I don't know why they keep doing it if they're not going to fix it. Fix it or don't do it is my opinion on that. But overall, they didn't have the worst show in the world. I don't think the execution was all that great, honestly. I think anybody would say that. But honestly, like that dancer team, there were some points in the dancer team that I enjoyed. I was like, wow, that kind of made me laugh a little bit and kind of got me excited a little bit. I think everybody would say we kind of are not very excited about the guy that has no instrument, that pulls the bass drum, and he's just kind of going ham in the middle of the band.
Shout out to the bells. I heard many bells in the fifth. I was like, you better play.
You heard the bells during the fifth, right? The bells. That's that midnight practice on the bells is all about right there. I noticed during the Dance Girl song that the band didn't dance as much. Like they kind of rocked back and forth a lot, but they didn't really just flat out just dance, which I thought was pretty cool, because they kept the sound to the front a lot. They still, I think, need to practice actually the technique of dancing and playing more. I don't personally have a problem with Grambling dance as much as they do. I'm cool with it. But I think they just need to work on it more, because when they dance, they don't sound that great. So they just need to work on, okay, let's make this music sound as good as possible. Let's make this dance look as good as possible. And now let's put them both together and make it sound tight. Because there are some times during the Crazy in Love, particularly the dun, 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 it's kind of like, this is kind of shaky. But like I said, with the dancer team, I thought that was pretty exciting at points. The announcer, we talked about announcers last week, and there were some issues there. I like the announcer. I think the placement of the announcement was great. I like how during the dancer team they said, everybody hit the quan, and then the band stopped for like 1 second and then did the move. And I think that worked really well. And it's something to think about when you're doing a dancer team as far as placement and timing and doing certain things. If you just make one adjustment, you can really get your crowd. Jackson State. I thought Jackson State's show was very exciting. Well done. And I wish that they had done that show that they did yesterday against Southern. They didn't have these times that only a handful of the band was playing. Like the whole band was playing. The entrance from the sidelines was good. You can definitely tell there seems to be some of the old school coming back. Like, the whole thing like, get up off of that thing. Like I remember seeing that off a Jackson State video back from the 80s that I saw.
And then them
playing the butt.
Still have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, one of yours I have.
Yes, you said Bandfest 86.
Do I have that?
Remember back in the day when we were like trading tapes or something like that, and I think you might have got the sticky fingers on my Bandfest 86.
Ooh. Joe, is this what I'm on this show for, in order to be harassed about band tapes? When we got MP3?
And this was back in the day when Rashad was a student in Hampton and I was living in Hampton. See?
Well,
we go way back.
If we're going to do that, I got a couple people to call out on the show. I got some band tapes that are missing. We're just going to have a band tape missing show. I'm looking to see here. to see if I got it here, but we'll talk about that. But
sorry, Rashad, I couldn't help it.
But was it the one? Was it this show where it's like the band's doing this dance routine? They're like, get up on this thing, and the drum major has a Jerry curl, and he's like really, really pumping it really, really hard. And don't, and then they come off the field to the butt. Is it that one?
No, it couldn't be the butt because it was Bandfest '86, and the butt didn't come out until like '87, '88ish.
Oh, okay. Well, the stuff that I'm talking about came from that same show.
Right.
Got my tape though. Just FYI. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know how to spell "fui." I know how to spell "fui." That's so fun. All right. Anyway, so I thought the first half of the show was very, very good. I thought the energy level on the show died off. It's like it started great, and the energy level just started to kind of just go down a little bit. And honestly, from a show perspective, I know I'm going to be burned at the cross, but from a show perspective, the end of the show, I kind of like Gramblin's show a little bit better. I just thought it was more entertaining. I think that Jackson is a better band without a shadow of a doubt. And if you had stopped the show, like maybe after the Dance Girl song, I probably would say, oh, yeah, Jackson and Grambling are not even the same league at all. But including, if you started from the second half of the show, I'd have been like, I kind of like Grambling's show a little bit better because they didn't have to be in straight lines, you know. So we'll come back to the fifth quarter whenever you want to talk about that.
Yeah. That's interesting that you say that because it's similar to what we just talked about at Central, man. Sometimes, you know, you already know you better than a band. You go into a stadium like, okay, well, you still should probably have a good show. You know, you could slip. People slip. Shout out to South Carolina State, 1996. They slipped. And they hate when I bring up this story, but Johnson C. Smith, man, you know, we had 3 trumpets from West Charlotte. Shout out to my man Calvin that came off the street that marched with us. We came in there at least 85 deep. You know what I'm saying? And that to us was deep. And South Carolina State slept on us, man, you know, and that can happen. Don't let it happen to you. That's all I'm saying. This probably should be the theme for the day. We probably should.
Don't let it happen to you, like my tape getting ganked. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because people slip. People think that it's all good in certain areas, and you slip, and it's like, damn, I wish I had that back. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not talking about you, Rashad.
Whatever, man.
I was just talking about bands, you know. But straight up though. Right quick, but we got a couple minutes left. Let me go over. Well, yeah, I think we already talked. We already kind of talked about it. I was looking over my notes as far as BCU and Central. I think one thing I wanted to bring up was Bethune-Cookman had a dance piece that they played for the dancers, and it sounded pretty kind of swackish. I like that song.
Okay, so what's swackish? What is swackish?
A little bit of something where your drum majors are going to be like bobbing their head with. Not drum majors, but your snares. Something that's just like, oh my God, like it's swackish has a little movement, little down home blues with it, you know.
Okay.
I know Miakish.
Here we go.
Y'all are a little bit more basketball.
Okay, stop, no y'all, because let's get it clear. You technically CI, okay?
Oh. All right, yeah,
I hate these stupid conference turf wars. I hate it.
I didn't mean. I was trying to do one. You right. I should have said y'all. We and the MEAC. Is that better? We?
No, you don't have to do that. You tried though.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's that swag. It's like it had a little bit more Tony seasoning in it. Y'all know Tony seasoning. You know what I'm saying. I had just a little bit more funk in it. You know what I'm saying.
More funk. So you're saying that MEAC fans can't be funky?
Well, see, that's what I'm digging a hole. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't really know.
Yeah, and that's why I can't get with that. I'm sorry.
But it sounded tight. The song.
But you can get behind that, Kirsty, because it's Bethune. You know, okay, put you like this. It's Bethune sounding different than anything else, I think is what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. They had some, I mean, because, you know, Bethune is very uniform, very Tecmo Bowl crowdish. You know what I'm saying? Just very.
Tecmo Bowl?
Yes,
you
Tecmo Bowl crowdish.
Everybody's
Tecmo
doing
Bowl
the same
crowdish.
thing.
Yeah, very uniform, very similar. I mean, it's a good thing. You know, them and Fam are very similar, like, you know, far away. They all look to be having the same emotion. You know what I mean?
I really wish you could see my face right now. I really wish you could.
I think
it's not the same emotion as you, Joe.
But they don't have that. You know, they just don't have that flair sometimes. And I felt that song had that flair with it. It had a little, you know, catch to it. Like, you know, a little A&T, little more A&T-ish. Is that? Because y'all are funky.
Don't be trying to bring up my school in it to try to side compliment me. See, that's how you do.
You're not complete, Joe. You're just not complete.
Let it go, Lamb. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
But I did feel that the song was good. I didn't even, you know, typing that out, I didn't even probably realize who I was on the show with, so I probably shouldn't have whacked.
Oh, poor Joe. I'm going to stop giving you a hard time.
So you might have to use that muted button.
I know, right. But with that, I thought that was good. And then I think we already talked about Central and the condition I thought was really good. You guys already talked about the Fifth. They pretty much played one song, and that was pretty much it. We got through Morgan, talked about that. One thing I thought about Dell State, though, we got a couple minutes before our break. They dance a lot, and I don't know. That's kind of a turnoff. I wanted to kind of get your, because Morgan played a lot more, so I felt like Morgan probably had a little bit more of the difference. They sound a little bit more better. But what do you guys think about bands that be like dancing in the stands or singing all the time, or like, you know?
Okay, look. And this is no shade, but one of the first bands I think of that does that is old school Johnson C. Smith. Like, this is no shade thrown to you, Joe, because I know you were once a part of that program. But Johnson C. Smith, they used to be the dancingest, play everything staccato-ish, playing the Star Spangled Banner staccato.
Yes.
Program that I know.
So, do you think that's tight, or should directors be like cutting that out?
That's not my thing. I mean, hey, like I said, Rashad is the director. He's got the music degree. He's been a director, so you know.
I know about dancing.
Rashad, man, what you think, man? I mean,
I don't personally have a problem with that. The first band that I think about it is Howard. And, you know, I've been, you know, across the field from Howard sometimes, and they've done a couple, they get about 2 or 3 things that they do in the stands. And I'd be kind of like, man, I wish we kind of did that. That was kind of hype, you know, because they get their crowd going. And, you know, personally, band, it's about pleasing your band heads, but it's about pleasing your crowd, too. And ain't nothing wrong with dancing as long as the dancing is tight. Like I said, that's why I don't have a problem with Grambling. And I think that's why Grambling is, quote-unquote, the world-famed Tiger Marching Band, because regardless of what we think about it, people like to see them dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a fan of it as long as it's done well, as long as it's tight, as long as you don't sound bad when you're dancing.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I just don't know like how I feel like when I see it, though, you know. And yes, Christy, you are correct. I do remember in '96 we did a performance in the March of Dimes. Shout out to I just found him on Facebook, D Lakes from Augusta, Georgia. Rube, shout out to your brother. He was our head drum major there at Johnson C. Smith. And I remember we didn't have anything to play, so for I don't know how many counts, D Lakes just was up there freestyling, and we were literally 8 counts behind him catching the flash. So when when D Lakes did the Running Man, 8 counts behind, the band was doing the Running Man. You know what I'm saying? He was up there freestyling. Hey, he got us through that performance. So I do remember that a lot. And we did it against Winston-Salem State that year, and they were like, y'all don't know no music, y'all don't know. So, yeah, they had a chant going. And they sounded good that year, too.
Okay, so what's going on with Winston? I haven't heard a peep from them. I'm glad you brought that up.
I haven't either. Well, you know, director Micah Magruder's still there this year. I guess, you know, they in the cut. They don't have the Periscope going on, I guess.
Come on. Yeah, what's up with Winston?
They're on the fifth. They're playing 2 songs on the fifth quarter.
Okay.
On your website.
Mhm. Oh, you trying to? You know what?
What?
I will handle you.
What did I say?
I will handle you.
What did I say?
This phone call.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I haven't heard from them either. But I definitely want to check them out. Oh, wow. When you're looking at the clock. Well, that's good. We could go to this break. That's a good little place to break. We can come back, talk a little bit more about Grambling and Jackson State. I'll give you guys the floor with that because I didn't see too much of that. I think I pretty much talked about Morgandale. I saw a little bit of Clark. But, you know, we could probably, we'll get into that more. Shout out to Warren Shaw down there at Clark doing the thing. I saw Albany State, too. I was disappointed then, but we could get into all that. And I think there's a caller in here. So we'll get into all that. I'll mute the mic. We'll get into the second segment here at the 90 Degree Show. Thanks for listening. We'll listen to our beloved sponsors. Y'all know who they are at this point. But we'll listen and keep it locked, like they say on BET. Keep it locked.
Hello, this is Christine Nayo-Katzman, CEO and publisher of Halftime Magazine, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
This is Natalie Kennedy Beard, Spelman College alumni, class of 1971. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the 90 Degree Show. You're listening to Grambling, Bring Us Back. 718-664-6025. Thanks for all your love and support. If you're in the chat room, shout out to you. Thanks a lot for listening. We got a caller here. Let me bring Christy and Rashad back in. We got a caller here from the 269 area code. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from tonight?
Chris Jones.
What's up, Chris Jones? What's going on, Chris Jones? What's going on, Chris Jones?
Man, blessed, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, everybody. This is Chris Jones, the owner and founder of March Aerobics and the Johnson C. Smith drum major when I was there in 96. Transferred later to Jackson State. It was Crab 98, Jackson State. Learned a whole new personality. Started calling them Goldberg down in Mississippi. And was drum major at Jackson State as well. So what's going on, Chris Jones? Happy to hear from you, man.
Man, I'm blessed, man. I've been listening to the show, man. I've been listening to a lot of things you're saying and stuff, and I'm loving it. One of the things I just gotta reap on is we're talking about that 96 show. You talking about that band? We were 112, man. We won 86.
Oh, we had more. I didn't know we had more than 100 people. Wow, that's crunk. Yeah, that's crunk there.
You didn't include the 20 dancers.
He included auxiliary, man. You didn't include auxiliary.
30 dancers, excuse me.
Oh, yeah. He just said auxiliary. So blue satin, and we had flags. That's right.
Oh yeah. But the thing that I think a lot of the bands are missing now is the energy level. Just creeping on Grambling. I was talking about the Grambling show, and I heard you talk about the Grambling show. The thing that I'm missing in the bands is endurance and longevity of energy. They don't have the energy that we used to have back in the day because they don't push themselves like that, physically nor mentally. We did practice a lot at Jackson State, and the mental was to actually blow the house down at all times, from the beginning to the end. But at the same time, we had the showmanship of a Ray Charles, of a Dizzy Gillespie, and we had that gift of gab when it came to our music. But I listen to everything, and I am impressed. I am impressed by the critics. I love Christy. You're great. I dig you. I dig you, girl. I have to talk about A&T and Bethune. You know, I love A&T. A&T is a good band. A&T is actually my top band right now because they are creative, because they are using their imagination. Jackson State, I love Jackson State with the numbers that they have. Of course, that's great, but as far as the showmanship, it's not there like it used to be. I can't even call it like that. Grambling did put on a good show, but at the same time, we have to look at the marching. The marching wasn't there, and you said something about the step twos. The step twos, you hit it right on the head. You hit that nail right on the head. They are not, after they get to 16, it's over with. It turns into an amoeba. It turns into a straight amoeba. But, I mean, an amoeba. A no-form cell. That's right. But, Thank you, Jay. But I mean, I'm very flustered this year. I'm very upset with a lot of things that's happening too with the band. I have to go. You said something about being CIAA. Well, Johnson C. Smith was not just a CIAA type band. Actually, we were more of a SWAC type of a band because we used to do downfield drills when all the other bands were doing across the field drills. They were coming across. We did down the field. And matter of fact, I'm a critic. I'm a band head. We were the top 10 band. We were one of the top 10 bands in the nation when I was at Johnson C. Smith. And I have to give my kudos to Johnson C. Smith and Mr. Gray and what he did for us. The energy level, I don't think anybody could ever implement that energy into anybody. We were one of the only bands that did the Guinness Book of World Records. We marched 45 miles for the Guinness Book. If you didn't know that, 45-mile parade in one day. That's the type of mentality that they had at Johnson C. Smith then. Now, the other thing that I'm getting into that I hate that I'm seeing now is that the bands are getting more core stylish with the drum line. I
could see where you say that. I could see that.
And then you said something else, Chris. You said you got to perform for everybody. So if you're a drummer, if you're a percussionist, if you're listening to this show right now, check this out. You have to play for everyone. Don't play for just the percussionist that knows what a ninja is, what a cut cheese is, what a polyfly is. You have to play for everybody. Put on the show. And a lot of the things that they're putting in the music is not the 2 and 4. And I've heard critical incidents that people say that the SWAC all they use is the 2 and 4. But that's music. In our music of today, in the music that is back in the day, the 2 and 4 is what puts it in the pocket, and it's what gives it that drive, that energy. And I don't hear that anymore. I don't hear that, especially in the CIAA. You hear so many tonal bass drums, and they've X'd out the tenor drums in the CI. And I have to give my props to my brother. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, my brother is the band director at Livingstone College.
Oh.
And and he brought back the tenor drums. I told him, I said, man, Jones, you got to bring back the tenor drums. You got to bring back that tenor drum sound, because that adds another flair to the showmanship and the sound of the band. But man, I could go on and on and on, Jones. You know how I am. I'm a talk box. But one thing I have to say too, Bethune is utilizing that 324 individuals that they have, but at the same time, they're being very predictable. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to play, especially in the stands. It's just the same thing, same old, same old. And I said this on my Facebook page just today about Fam and Bethune. Fam has done the same show from Game 1 to Game 4. Game 4, I'm sorry. Game 4, doing the same show. When we were at Jackson State and when we were really at Johnson C. Smith, we never did the same show. We might do the same drill, but we never did the same dance routine. And we were dancing
band. We didn't either when I was in school.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. And we don't. And now in today's age, and what I'm seeing today is, okay, we're going to do the same show. We're going to do the same show that we did last week. We're going to do it 3 times. And Fam has done the same show. They just went against Savannah State. I did Savannah State's band camp this year, and I had a chance to work with Marcus Graham, which is an outstanding band director. He was a former band director at Edward Waters.
Uh-huh.
He has implemented and put that energy into their shows and their music. The musicality has really come up. Savannah State, you need to check them out. Check them out. They are really sounding great.
What's good with Livingstone?
Well, you know what it is. I'm gonna tell you, Livingstone is doing all right, and I have to applaud my brother for what he's done, but he didn't get the opportunity to recruit like he wanted to because they gave him the job so late. It's just like being a coach at a football team.
Right.
You gotta put your plan in. You gotta put your plan in, and you gotta get everybody following that flow of that plan. And he didn't get that opportunity to. His numbers went down. The mindsets of the kids are on a different level. He's a killer, and he's a bandsman. But you got kids that are really looking for, we want to do it like we did it last year. You can't do it when you got a new band director coming in. He's going to change things. Things are going to be added on. Things are going to be twisted and turned. But, I applaud my brother. My brother, he's a very impressive band director. I just look forward to what he's going to do next year because the band program is really going to grow because he's going to get the opportunity to recruit.
Okay. Well, I hope there's somebody out there from Livingstone or affiliated with that program, maybe, to Periscope a game or, so I can see them because there have been quite a few bands. I mean, this is week 5, and there's quite a few bands I have not seen this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Especially with them because, they came out, like when we started doing the show, people was talking about Livingstone. And, we were like on the horizon, they about to be the next great band, And this year, just hadn't heard from them. So, yeah, definitely let them know, Chris Jones, about Periscope, and getting more of that media out there. And definitely we have him on the show. Good to hear from you, though, Chris Jones.
Oh yeah. I got another video coming out, man, and I got a book coming out too, man, called 8 to 5 All the Way Live. It's about the story of Chris Jones, from him going from drum major to John C. Smith and to being the drum major at Jackson State. It's a great story. It's a great book. I plan on probably releasing it probably in January of this year. So, be looking out for that. And,
that sounds like a winner.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And definitely it's a really good story. There may be names, people, places changed around to fit the story, but things are fictional. Okay, what you read is for the book. You know what I'm saying?
Strictly coincidental, right? Okay.
Right. It's not like, what my man and best man, it's like, oh man, like that's what we're it's a tie-in for the entertainment. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what's up, Chris Jones. It's good to hear from you, Chris Jones.
Appreciate it, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate the opportunity to just say some things, man. All the time, man. I love you, man, and I look forward to hearing your voice all the time on the podcast, and I love the things that you're doing, man. Hey, keep that up and keep this band thing alive, man, because hey, it's band heads out there that listen to this thing all the time, man.
Now, Chris, some of that. Chris, I just want to know before you go, this is Rashad, how much did Christy pay you to say that the stuff that I said, she said? Because the step twos and playing for everybody, I said that. She been on there talking about I owe her a band tape.
Hey, look, man. Hey, she paid me under the table. She paid me, before y'all went to break, she said, look, she sent me some money. And I'm just saying.
She brought a couple videotapes real quick.
Leave me out of y'all shenanigans.
But you did hit that on the head, man. You did. And I really didn't like Grandma playing Get Ready, but it's all right. We're gonna let that
was calm OD. I got a good old-fashioned kiki off, especially when Dr. Pennell turned around and smiled like a Cheshire cat. Ooh, oh, my gosh. I got my life. I got everlasting life from that. You know why? Because I'm petty. I'm petty like that. So, okay, go ahead.
I do have one question to ask y'all. Who is the band director, the young lady at Grambling right now that I've seen? She was directing the band. I don't know if she may be a student director or maybe I don't know. And if she's listening, I don't know, no disrespect, but I think she wrote a couple of pieces for Grambling this year, and I just wanted to find out who she was because she really impressed me. The musicality of it was one of the slow jams that they played, and I saw her directing that. But I've never seen her before. That she was a new face to me.
I know she's on staff because I remember I think it was last year somebody was saying congratulations to the first female band director at Grambling. But so she's not a student, but I don't know who I can't remember what her name is.
Man, hey, well, and Grambling has let me go ahead and say it. It takes a lot for me to say this.
Yeah, I understand. I just complimented Central, so I understand. Okay.
Yeah, Grambling has come up a little bit. They have, but yet and still, once again, they're doing the same show that they did in California that they're doing right now.
The arranging too is like the arranging is, I don't know. It seems. I don't know if it's, but definitely putting people out there on an island by themselves. I hear that a lot.
That arrangement of Get Ready was, that was something.
Yeah,
it was something. It was.
Well, while we're here, man, let's get in that fifth because Jackson versus Grambling. Like I said, on the field, there were some times as far as comparison, you could make a comparison as far as what you thought was better or worse. But Jackson versus Grambling in the stands, there was no comparison at all. It was Jackson all day long.
Yeah.
Grambling, I think they have some decent arrangements, but it just doesn't seem like they know them that well. It's like there just was never a time.
Yeah.
Like you always hear a lot of straggling trombones just kind of hanging out here or some counter melodies. It's just kind of like, I'm not sure if I know this. I think it kind of goes this way. It's kind of what you hear. Versus everything that Jackson played was solid. I mean, every single song. I didn't hear the whole fifth, but I probably heard a good 8 to 10 songs between the two. And Jackson was solid. The thing I liked about Jackson also is that of the songs that I heard, I didn't hear a single repeat of the songs that they played against Southern. So I appreciate the fact that Jackson has a pretty solid book. So I definitely got to give them the win all the way across the board there.
Grambling always sounds to me like this. Okay, this is not going to come out nice, but you know, they always sound to me like they just always need one more practice. You know, you know, it's like they have potential, but I'm just like, you just need to polish it. You just need one more practice.
I feel that's how I felt when I saw Albany State this weekend, and that's how I felt when I saw Delaware State. Like, it's like you have the tools. You have everything you need. And definitely Grambling, it's interesting you say that about Grambling because numbers-wise, you never worry about Grambling.
Right.
They numbers-wise, they always will show up somewhere and fill up the field. So they never have that problem. So you would think, you know, they take it to the next level. I don't know, man. It makes me feel like something's up with Grambling, or maybe they not really tripping off their music program, or they think they're really that good. You know?
I don't think there's anything up because I think they're consistently pretty much where they are.
Yeah, basically. I totally agree.
However, I will say that I think that they're not quite as good as they were the last 2 years. Chris, I agree with you when you were saying that they have been on a come-up. In the last 2 years, I really enjoyed them, particularly the battle against Prairie View. I enjoyed that. And going to the Value Classic, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, there were some things that I liked a lot better about Grambling versus Southern in the fifth quarter. I mean, in the Battle of the Bands the day before. But yesterday versus Jackson, it definitely wasn't the band I've seen over the last 2 years.
So I guess pretty much across the board, everyone thought, I guess Jackson State won in the stands. And what do you guys think about the halftime show? Or Rashard, what did you think about the halftime show?
Yeah, I didn't see halftime.
I would still give it, even though that, like I said, Grambling show was more exciting towards the end, I still would give the overall show to Jackson, both fifth and halftime.
Okay.
Well, I'm with Rashad on that. You know, it's one thing about performing. People remember your beginning and your end. And he just said it right there. He said, I remember the end. The end was, the dance routine was better as far as executing moves and stuff. I'm looking for that wow factor from every band. And I'm not getting it. Maybe because I'm old school. I don't know, but I'm just not getting it. And the only band I can honestly say that's really giving me the wow factor right now is North Carolina A&T.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel about
that. Please, it's hard enough for her to hold her head up now.
Oh, shut up. Look, you just need to be glad we didn't go to Hampton this week.
Yes, you would have been drowned out. You would have tripped it away.
It's funny because you bring up a really good point. And I think that Rashad and I have said that over the last couple of years is the showmanship. I think a couple of years ago Rashad was like, you need to see the Gangster Show, and I'm seeing they got the little skits going on before the show. You know what I'm saying? They got the dude with the hat on up in the dark room and everything, before that's innovative, that's definitely showmanship. If we I think there was a night show one time where it was like a night theme, and then they had all the shows and the song had the word night in them or something. I definitely would like to see that. And I think we brought this up before. Christy, you did an interview with Mr. Adams on the Fifth Quarter podcast, and that's what he said. That was huge back when he was in school, is the theme type thing. So maybe directors, out there, if they're listening, maybe they catch on to that, because maybe there's some bands we would like to see that with, just so we see something different, because we know you're good, but I mean, I guess we looking for something more. Like Chris Jones say, you kind of I guess folks is boring us out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Joe, it all comes down to what Dr. Davenport has talked about, which is the planning. If you were just sitting there on the week before trying to figure out what your show is, and you're just like, all right, well, this song aside, this song aside, this song aside, and then these songs are doing the dance routine, it's going to be like that. Versus if you're thinking about your show in April,
right.
You can really tweak some things, and then the week before, what if we put this in there? This will really put them over the top. It's that planning, I think, that helps you to do that. Like, it's obvious that A&T for their gangster show and other shows, it's no way they thought about the gangster show the week before. You know, they had to have put some prior preparation in there, and that makes a difference.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I do.
That's really good point. Really good point. So, there anything else? I do the round sweep before we do get into the last segment. Christian, was there anything else from this week that was interesting to you?
I think that pretty much covers it. But I had a really good time this evening, and Rashad, give me back my tape.
I'm looking over here to see if I got the tape. I think you need to call Johnny Hodge. I think Johnny Hodge Jr. has got your tape.
So Rashad, what's up, man? Was there anything else from this week before we get into the last segment that you wanted to bring up?
Absolutely. I'm not sure who I should be mad at, whether it's Time Warner Cable or Sprint, because I've got all this money I'm paying for Time Warner and all this money I'm paying for Sprint, but I couldn't get Periscope to work today. But I'm trying to watch FAMU versus Savannah State. And, I saw FAMU, and I saw exactly what Chris was talking about, pretty much the same show. I thought they did a good job. I still don't take anything away from them. I only saw probably like the first 45 seconds of Savannah State's show. But I just want to say I love what I saw. And I hate the hate that they were getting. Like on the Periscope, it was like, who is this high school band? And blah, blah, blah. I was like, come on, dude. Like, this band sounds awesome. Like, when they first opened up with their first song, like the crowd went crazy because they could tell, like, okay, Savannah State is probably about a fourth of the size of FAM.
Yes.
And yet, here they are putting out like a third of the sound or, coming close to a half of the sound. And even though a lot of what they were doing, it sounded like it was from the back. It was really from a distance, so I really couldn't tell. But everything that I heard sounded great. And I just really, really want to give them a lot of props. And I can't wait to watch the rest of that on the fifth quarter. I mean, on YouTube. Chris, I think you posted that or saw something like that. Savannah State versus FAM. So I can't wait to watch that to really see the rest of that. But Savannah State, I think they're going to turn a lot of heads, man.
They've been on the come up the last couple of years. I know we talked about that in the last couple of years. I know we wanted to do a show with them last year, I think against Bethune or against somebody, but we weren't, we weren't able to because we couldn't get the video. The guy Otis Jefferson or OJ. I think that's what we call OJ. He does a lot of taping there for Savannah State. So we definitely have to hit him up. We try to get some folks for Savannah State. But, yeah, they're one of those bands, and I think Ashley was bringing it up. It may not be the hashtag struggle bands, but it's those bands, the small-size bands that we definitely want to do well, to be well, so that our craft is looking up to par. There's more parity.
I'm sorry.
Central State.
Hashtag struggle band just makes me chuckle.
I do like it though.
It's funny.
I mean, it is. We waving the flag. We putting some awareness behind this thing. You know what I'm saying? So
now, Joe,
so I'm like,
that Marcus Graham is over there now. So this is his first year over there.
Okay.
He was at Edward Waters.
Edward Waters. Yeah, and Edward Waters did well. They had been on the come up. They a lot of people said that they got with Tennessee State, I think, last year, beginning of last year.
They did. Right. So their director is over at Savannah State now.
Nice. So hopefully, they'll be doing their thing. We definitely want to give a shout out to him, and we look forward to that. So we like a couple minutes early here on the break, but that's never a bad thing. We want to open the lines up to the peoples. 718-664-6025. You're welcome to call in. I got a couple of questions to ask you guys in the last segment, but of course, we open it up to news and stuff in our minds. I know we kind of got into it a little bit already. But again, open it up to the listeners. I'll meet you guys so we can listen to our beloved sponsors. But call in. Thanks a lot for listening. 718-664-6025. The 90 Degree Show. Check out themarchingpodcast.com. It's off the chain. It kind of is. The network, I mean, the brother is doing some things. Whoever the staff and the people over there, they're probably the greatest people on earth. I have to say, doing some big things. Talk to my man down at Jackson State, Manuel Powell, doing good things. He got his money. Everybody's doing well. We'll give you guys all the updates you need to hear after we hear from our sponsors. So thanks again for listening, and we'll be back after the commercial break.
Hello, this is Brian Knowles, Associate Director of Bands at Miles College, and proud Tennessee State University grad and proud Alabama State University grad. And you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probation to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Hello, this is Charles Cheese Waters, proud graduate of Rusk College in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and father of the owner of Block Band Music and Publishing. And you're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Thanks again for listening. The Purple Marching Machine bringing us back from the break. Shout out to Willie Snipes. Shout out to Brian Knowles. Chopped it up with both of them. Really good brothers. Also looking out for those two students there from Dominguez High School that picked Miles College to attend here on our network. 718-664-6025. Let us know what's going on with you this week or anything that we said. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll show your icon during the broadcast, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. All right. Thanks again as I unmute the microphone. We'll bring Chrissy back on. And I think Chris is still out there on the line with us. We got just news from the week. I wanted to just throw some things off you guys. And if you had anything, please feel free to say it. His and Hers, the show that's on ESPN. I think it's Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. They do their podcast. Used to be Numbers Never Lie. And I was the hugest fan in the world when it was Michael Smith, Jalen Rose, and Hugh Douglas. That show was like the greatest ever. And then they had so many questions, and they based it on the numbers. Now it's, taking on a new format, if you will. And this was their first time at an HBCU. So, they got the ESPN cameras and all that out there. How Skip and Stephen A. are in different cities. They were on Howard's campus. So I wanted to give them a shout-out to that. It was really exciting to see them and that they're using their platform. Neither one of them went to HBCUs, but it was good that they actually thought about that. Saw they had some folks step in. They had the band out there. Did anybody check that out or even hear about it or anything? Christy, I asked you first.
Oh, yeah, I definitely knew about it, and I told as many people as I could about it, especially some of my my ESPN-loving coworkers. I definitely made sure that they were listening to that. Yeah, so, I caught some snippets of it. It was good. I mean, anything that puts HBCUs in a positive light, I'm for, and I'm glad that they went to Howard's homecoming, and maybe they can do some more shows, on a HBCU campus. Who knows? Right. I was surprised. I was surprised that they went there. Rashad, did you check it out, or did you know about it?
Man, show style band is the only sport that I need, bro. So I don't know nothing about it. ESPN.
I ain't gonna say that.
I don't know nothing about it, bro.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. Chris Jones, did you know about His and Hers, man?
Yeah, I did. I did, but I'm with Rashad on that one. I just need the band. That's that drug for me.
That's what's up, man. Well, they had a little bit of like their pep band. Like of course they didn't have their whole band out there, but they had some folks from the band come out there. I had them at Parade Rest while they were out there talking. You know that, boy. I hated that stuff, boy.
I remember when they had College Game Day at the Bayou Classic, and it was the one probably right after Katrina, or maybe it was that year. And it was pouring down, like the weather was it was bad weather, like rainstorms and everything. And so you know how people are out there on College Game Day with their signs and everything. Well, our folks don't want to come out in the rain, womp, womp. So the showing...
Well, we got perms and stuff.
Hey, well, that's them. I'm Team Natural, #Team Natural. But, but I'm just saying, like, the showing wasn't what I wanted, what I would have liked it to be for HBCU. So, anytime ESPN can give us some coverage, I'm pleased about it. I just want us to represent so that we can look good, while we get that national spotlight.
Because that national spotlight is huge, man. Because, as soon as they put us out there, if it doesn't hit the number that they say, it may be like another 400 years before the opportunity comes up. Because they say, well, you saw the data here.
That's why I was so sad. That's why I was so sad about College Game Day, like the weather, it just being bad weather that weekend. Because I feel like if it would have been a sunny day, we'd have had us there with the signs and the big heads and the, how they do on game day.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's what's up, y'all. Only other thing I had, and I'm gonna let Chrissy have the floor if she had anything. I like the rounds. I started seeing folks on like Periscope or folks say like they started calling rounds. So one band plays, the other band plays. Someone say, okay, that was round one. and then like they say, oh, you know, they think that, you know, Bethune or A&T, they won that round or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like a scoring type of thing. So and so won 6-4, or you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I thought that was cool. I really enjoy that. That was all the rest that I had. Christy,
yes.
Anything else that popped up and went on this week? Any news that we need to know about?
Well, actually, this might have been a slow news week for me. Nothing's really coming up off the top of my head except the whole His and Her podcast thing.
Right.
It is though. It's starting to be that time. It's homecoming season. You know, it's October, and some schools have already even had their homecoming starting this weekend. But yeah, it's that time. But in that same vein, I say it's about to be week 6. So I don't want to hear any excuse, oh, we just getting the kinks out. No. You need to be at top form at this point. I don't want to hear no excuses. Yeah, so get your stuff together.
I am so with that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Rashad, anything going on? Any news? Anything? Any interesting topics that you may have for us?
Okay, so the news is the fact that this coming weekend will be North Carolina versus Virginia, Battle of the Bands. I think it's the second one. So it was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, but the rain made them postpone it. So it will be this weekend, and I'll be there. It's just a matter of determining where I'm going to be on Saturday, whether it's going to be Hampton Homecoming, which I would love to go to, or the Dillon Battle of the Bands in South Carolina, which was rescheduled from last week to this week. That's always a great Battle of the Bands. Normally has about 20, band competition, really. It's called the Dillon Battle of the Bands. It normally has about 20 high school bands there. So I hope if you guys are in South Carolina area that you were able to check that out, or if you're in the Richmond area, you're able to check out the Virginia North Carolina Battle of the Bands.
I got an announcement. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That just reminded me of something. And the funny thing of it is, I found this out through my mom, of all people. So apparently this weekend, A&T is playing Norfolk State in Norfolk. And I'm hearing some talk about there's actually going to have a Battle of the Bands on that Friday night in Eccles Gym. I don't know any details. I talked to my mother, who knows people who work on the campus. They're trying to get some tickets for it, and so I think it's going to be some kind of event. So I would maybe say that look on Norfolk State's band website, or maybe on their social media. This is my first time hearing about it. I heard about it this afternoon. So
Okay, then let's piggyback that with saying, shame on you, Norfolk. Shame on you. If your marketing is not any better, that the queen of Showstop Band doesn't even know about the Battle of the Bands.
I'm about to
say. Do a better job of letting people know what's going on here. So,
that's a really good point. Or it's like last minute that they're trying to put it together or something. You know?
I don't know. And I don't even think it's rumors. I think it's past, like, there may be. I really think it is something happening on that Friday night. But that's going to be interesting.
Planning, Rashad. We just talking about planning, brother. Time and planning, brother.
Amen.
As far as interesting topics to talk about, I may have mentioned this a little bit last week, but I just want to hit this real quick and get everybody's thoughts on it. Guys, I really believe that our institutions really need to give more support to the band. I say this because you guys remember when years ago, none of us probably remember this, but our parents do, when the best athletes in the nation were at the HBCU.
Yep.
And eventually, there was a time when the PWC started realizing that, and they started throwing all of this money to these athletes, and now everything is completely changed. And now pretty much most of the time, unless you're Tennessee State, if you're going up against a major, PWC, you're going to get the full. And that's unfortunate, but that's the case because of all the money that they're throwing around. How many times is it going to be that Southern has to go to UGA and they say, man, that band was amazing, or Grambling has to go here, or Hampton has to go here, or A&T has to go here, and they keep saying, wow, these are some amazing bands. that the college president finally says, you know what, we need to fire the band director that we have, and we need to bring in somebody that can do that type of stuff. And all of a sudden they're paying a Marcus Graham $300,000. They're paying a Sylvester Young, $250,000. They're paying all these directors from across the nation to come in and run their bands that way. What are we going to do then when that happens? And it can happen because Ohio University already has a show-style band. And Sylvester Young was taken from Hampton back in 1991 or 1992. They gave him money to come there. Now, they had a show-style band before he got there, but he helped them to continue that style.
Right.
How much longer do you guys think it'll be before all of a sudden that shift comes into place? So our institution needs to understand that their bands are marketing magnets for their university.
They are.
And they need to support them like they need to be. So that's my topic.
Chris Jones, did you want to say anything behind that, man?
Oh man, I'm the amen choir. Well,
I was like, let me put up an offer.
I am, because what he's talking about is so true. We need to get behind it and support these bands. It's a marketing tool. Not only that, even at the HBCUs, just bringing in the popularity and the population of students. A lot of students just go to schools. Some of these schools just, hey, I go to Jack State because it's Sonic Boom. They do. They do. We really need to get behind it. And I'm with you on that. We were talking about the athletes. My dad marched at the 101, the original 101, South Carolina State. And he used to always tell me about the football games they used to have and how the level of the caliber of athletes they used to have, like Donnie Shell, Bonnie Bussey, Mel Blount. These are guys that you might not know of, but these are guys that have won Super Bowl rings like out of Donnie Shell has like four Super Bowl rings. And when he played for South Carolina State, man, there was like 7 or 8 guys that made it to the pros that year. And the caliber and the level of athletes and the caliber and level of musicians were on another grade. It was there. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm listening to you. I just had to say amen. But another thing I have to say is a lot of our band directors back in the day too came from, I hate to say it, well, I'm not going to say hate to say it, but they came from the Midwest. William P. Foster with the Michigan, which they do a form of the double march, which he created and implemented and took it back to fam and called it the Rattler.
Well, that they weren't letting us in schools in the South. So the Midwest, they were the only ones that were, think about
those doors.
The Midwest, they were the only ones that were taking us in the 40s and 50s.
And I think that William, like you say, William P. Foster, his main people, and then he came back from the stuff that he learned there. And the Big Ten schools, and then of course a lot of things we do with our drills. I love those, like Rashad talked about those step 2s with Jackson State and all of that patterns of motion and all that's from the same place.
Exactly. And I know sound like we're having a history lesson right quick. You also notice in the Midwest and the Big Ten and those schools, they still wear spats. They still wear spats, man. They still wear the traditional spat, which is the tradition of a black school or HBCU. It was and it's still a standard. And I look at that and I just don't. I analyze it from a standpoint of saying that, hey, our color is still in those schools. Our color and our blacketry is still in those schools, and those schools are really put on shows. Michigan, Ohio State, Ohio University, they all put on.
Wisconsin, I really like the way they march. Wisconsin,
yes, sir. I love the Badgers. I know. Being that I'm in Michigan right now, I live in Michigan. The Michigan State school, Michigan State is really hot. I love their cheers. I love their chants. I love to see them march. I love their style. They might not put out the sound that I'm looking for, but at the same time, they do put on a good show. But I ain't gonna harp on it. I'll just say it like this, man. Support these HBCUs, support these band directors. Let's make a change. Let's make some development. Let's make some things happen. Absolutely.
We all we got.
We all we got. BMB.
Right. I personally think that Talladega and A&T are actually probably the two biggest examples of that. Talladega, who knew about Talladega 5 years ago? Who ever knew about the Talladega College?
No,
I didn't.
Nobody.
But there are kids. I know that there are kids that in Charlotte now and in Atlanta now and other places that Talladega has shown up that would love to go to that school, and the next year will be in that school because of the band's performance. They don't even have a team, but that university is getting national attention now, if not international attention through YouTube because of their band. Secondly, I can't speak for, other schools, but being in North Carolina, I know about A&T. I've been a fan of A&T for a long time, and I know that people go to A&T just because of the atmosphere that the band creates there. They may not know anything about being in the band or wanting to be in the band. They may not have a clue, but they know when they go to that football game, it's a lot of fun. And it's the one thing that you can get, or one of the handful of things that you can get at A&T that you can't get anywhere else. Other schools they've got degrees, they've got master's degrees and doctorate degrees and things, and A&T does have a great engineering program, so let's not take away from that. It's not just about band and other programs. Right. But there are things that every school has, but there's only a handful of things that show-style bands have that nobody else has, and one of those is the band. And there's kids, that's one of the reasons why I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, North Carolina A&T is the largest HBCU in the nation. If I'm not mistaken, I might be incorrect.
It is.
But here's the thing. They are now. Mm-hmm.
But yet the band gets almost no support.
You know
that
what?
Band is
we
going to be taken away from
another hour talking about that, but I digress.
The band about the Talladega thing, though. Talladega only has 800 to 1,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know? And they have about 300 people in the band.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And just like I look at Bethune-Cookman, Bethune-Cookman is a private school, which has probably, 2,000, 3,000 students.
Right.
300 some odd kids in the band. That's impressive to me. But why? And then you were talking about Marcus Graham. I told you I did that band camp this summer at Savannah State. That school has 5,000 students with 80 students in the band.
Wow.
And that hurts me. That right there hurts me in itself. It's so many kids walking around there that can utilize those talents and get a scholarship or whatever. Idle time is the devil's workshop. And to me, when I was in the band, actually that was the time my grades went up. Actually, I didn't have any time but to study and go to band practice.
Yep.
And kick it just a little bit on the side, Joe, just a little bit.
Right.
But we really, that's a very important thing, and I hope Marcus is listening, because he really impressed me this summer when I did the band camp, because I wore the dog out of him. I ain't gonna lie. I hit with the Mark Rovers. We marched in hot Savannah sun, and that sun is not nice. But 80 some odd students in the band, but the school is 5,500 strong, and they really need to get behind him and get really supportive of what he's doing and his mindset and where he's trying to take that band to. And
that's all good, man. Well, we really appreciate it. I'm gonna wrap up the show somewhat tonight. Christy, anything that you want to end? Any shout-outs before we get off the air tonight?
I want to give a shout-out to Miles College. Miles College, I think they need to be in the Honda this year.
Yeah, I agree.
And it would be their first year, so that would be awesome. I also want to give a shout-out to a game we really didn't talk about that much, but it was Clark versus Morehouse. And so I got to give a shout-out to Warren Shaw and also Chad Hughes. I refer to the game, my friends and I refer to the game as Shaw versus Hughes. So I'm sure they both did a great job this past weekend.
Yeah, Clark did a good job. I think Band 2 or someone posted. I think you invited out on Periscope, but Clark's halftime was on there. Again, still a small band, but you can tell they're at least on the come up. The main thing I always think about Clark is that tuition. I mean, I think about John C. Smith in that same way, but that tuition at Clark is something. So shout out to anybody that's even out there. All right. Chris Jones, I'll go ahead and give you the floor, man. Anything else? Shout out to anything we need to be looking out for?
Shout out to the brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi 1. Shout out to all my HBCU family. Marcus Graham, I got to give you your kudos once again. Jackson State, love the boom. Johnson C. Smith, the IIOS, which I'm so sadly to say that, I still love my school. I got one shout out, Edna Carr High School. Oh my gosh, bruh. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love what you're doing over there. I love I love the energy. I love the pageantry that you got going on, and you're implementing Jackson State. Shout out to them. And last but not least, shout out to my brother Tony Jones at Livingstone College. Much love to you. I love you so much, bro. AEA, keep on striving.
Yeah, shout out to Tony. Came in. I remember when I was at Smith. I think he came in. Came in from a practice, and you remember Chris Jones, how we used to get crunk out to practice and play stuff in the band room. I think we played Can't Hide Love, and he came in and played this little variation, and we was like, damn, he was soloing on top of the band. I was like, damn, he is raw, So shout out to the brother. The little variation, I had to tell you, Chris Jones, and let him know if he's listening. I stole that, and I actually played that my first year at Jackson State.
I love it.
Everybody has to stand up. I don't know if they still do it anymore, but before you introduce who you are, you stand up and play something. And I stood up and played the Tony Jones version of Can't Hide Love. I was crunk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you.
Love the boom, baby, love the boom.
Man, I was excited, man. I gotta tell him that in person though. So, but yeah, I stole some of his stuff, yeah. But yeah, Rashad, what's going on? Anything else we looking out for this week?
Hey, real quick, you said you had to play Win before Win. That sounds cool. Before you introduce yourself, Win.
So at Jackson State, when we were there, you walk in and you play something. So it's pretty much like when the freshmen get with the upperclassmen, and then everyone pretty much goes down the line and introduces themselves. They allot that time, so all 300 people introduce themselves individually. But the first thing you do is play something on your horn. And
wow. Hey,
yeah,
that's
how you introduce
these new kids. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know if they still do that, but that's how you get your name, and that's how got my name.
They be like hazing. They be like, oh, that's hazing. Okay, but anyway.
Well, look, it was hazing then because he sat. Dr. Liddell would sit there through the whole thing, and you play next, and you play, and everybody play scales, whatever. But you had to play something.
Yeah, he got to it. So then, the next year. He totally changed the game on me. I actually was practicing what I was going to play for when I stood up, and then he told us what to play. The upperclassmen had to play, scales in 2 octaves, and then we had to play it at a certain speed. Oh, man, he messed my – and then to put us out there, he put a poster up in the band room and said if you passed or failed. Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
They were
sure did.
Oh,
it was real, baby.
Sensitive kids. These sensitive kids will have a fit. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it was real. And then we had Mr. Adams on top of that, who singled me out plenty of times. But, yeah, I guess it made me stronger, but I did want to cry a couple times, Mr. Adams.
And Mr. Adams would do that to you.
He would, man. But anything else, Rashad, though?
Just a shout out to all my guys on staff, my arrangers in particular right now. So right before we get finished the marching podcast, we had an arrangers training where we were talking about the baritone, euphonium, and so they really, really work hard in order to learn about every instrument in the marching band, percussion and winds. And so I really have to give them some props for taking the time to deal with me and learn about that so they can be the best arrangers out there. And also I want to give a shout-out to Chris for what you're doing there, man. You got a book on the way. You're doing the drum major thing, the drum major video exercise and things. As I mentioned, as I mentioned last week.
March aerobics.
Yes, sir, March aerobics. I said, I think last week, there's a lot of money in this thing, man, and people need to participate in that. And so I would love to get with you, Chris, to see how Block Band can help to market you. We have done, quite a bit with Dr. Davenport, helping him to get his book out and helping him to reach band directors all across the nation. And so we would love to, do what we can in order to network with you to help get your videos out to bands and other people all across the nation.
Yeah. Well, we need to link up then. Let's make that happen.
And definitely,
I need everybody
Chris
to
Jones, I know we talked about this before, but I know Chris Jones does drum major camps for all those directors or anyone out there looking to tighten up your drum majors or either to implement that drum major style. Chris Jones will come out to your school and do that for you. And also, too, for a lot of the band directors out here, I know the 6 show-style high school directors out here will definitely want to get some of that attention as well. So if you guys are out there, definitely check out Chris Jones with the March Aerobics. So we really appreciate your time. Love the people. I have to give the people who are on the show with me, I give you a round of applause for doing the show. It's been really fun. Really appreciate all that you guys do. We'll keep following you guys. So hope you all have a good week, and I'm sure I'll be hollering at you guys this week. But you guys have a good week. Watch out for them lambs.
All right, Joe.
Watch out for them lambs. I like that. I like that phrase, the lambs. You know what I'm saying?
Precious lambs, yes.
The lamb. I love it.
That's what's up, y'all. So we appreciate your time, and I'm sure I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
All right, now, Joe.
All right,
hey, y'all take it easy. All right, Chris.
That's all the time we have for the show tonight. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. You know what? I just thought about something, y'all, and I I'm gonna save it for next week. I just thought about something else. I had to bounce off my peoples, and if it was tight or not, and I swear, man, it's just the business, I guess. Get so excited to talk to you guys, but I end the show now. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you guys next week.